Hookah, you stay. I go. No following.
I love you.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Film Bros podcast. My name is Isaiah Lucas, and I am joined by my co-hosts.
Abraham.
And Nick.
How you guys doing tonight?
I'm all right.
Doing all right.
Yeah, can't
I'm
complain.
all right as well.
It just came out like that. I'm all right. Yeah, I can't complain.
Good.
I could, but it won't do me any good. So.
That's true. And who would listen?
Well, the podcasters would listen now.
I'm just joking.
Actually, at work, a lot of people would tell me that, and I would be like, "Well, yeah, I won't listen anyways." And they look at me, and I was like, "Oh, I'm joking."
Savage. We should start up a therapy bros.
Yeah. Call in. Give us
if you want to join into the session.
We are a lot nice licensed professionals.
Yeah, we just say stupid.
We'll just give you information that you want to hear.
Yeah. Or something that pertains like nothing to your life, but
Yeah, they're like, oh, I need financial help. You're like, oh, well.
Oh,
Dude,
well, first
invest
you got to
in
go buy a
Doge.
boat, and then you got to start fishing, and then you just start racking up money like that.
yeah,
Become a
there you
fisher.
go. You want money? Get a job. No, I'm
It's
just kidding.
that easy.
You're homeless? Buy a home.
Buy a home. It's that easy.
Oh, man.
And that's the episode.
Yeah, there we go.
What? Do you guys feel like kids?
I do, man. I hadn't
It's been a while since I've seen this movie, so.
Same. I hadn't returned to this movie like, man, it felt like decades for real. Like, I was obsessed with this movie when I was a kid, and I had the VHS, and I remember the VHS came with a little figurine, and
A figurine? Which of the Iron Giant?
yeah, and
Oh,
I
we
even.
didn't say the movie.
Yeah, I even remembered. Well, yeah, we're talking about the 1999 animated film, The Iron Giant, and it was written by Tim McCanlies, Brad Bird, and then there's an uncredited writing credit for Brent Forrester, and then is also directed by Brad Bird, who would later go on to do movies like The Incredibles and Ratatouille.
The goated movies, seriously.
Yeah, seriously. And I remember I guess I can't really say like I remember my first exposure with the movie, but I remember growing up loving it so much to the point where like whenever I was in first grade, I think, either kindergarten or first grade, we got like tasked with an assignment to like write a story, and I straight up just like plagiarized this movie as a kid.
No.
Yeah, and I did illustrations of the Iron Giant and me walking around the woods and him picking up trees and all this stuff and everything, and like it won an award. I think my parents still have the book.
And did you even say anything? Like, what'd you name it?
I think I put like The Giant in Me or something like that.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, like I straight up just loved that movie so much that I just like ripped it off, and I wrote the story like as a kid and did all the drawings and everything, and it like got an award or something.
Nice.
I forget. I'll have to
Man,
try to
you're
find
an artist, bro.
I'll try to find the book and show you guys, but
Can I get your autograph?
yeah, I'll give it to you whenever we finish here. No,
Yeah.
but yeah, I like this movie's just always been around for me
Always.
as a kid, and it's something that I loved, and I had recently been thinking about like whenever we were coming up with movies that we wanted to do for the pod for the foreseeable future, I was thinking about, what are some movies that I really loved as a kid, and I started thinking about like movies that were formative for me, and then movies that I just remember liking as a kid, and this was one of them that I remembered, and I was like, man, I haven't seen that in forever. I would love to rewatch it. I remember it being good. Let's see if it stood the test of time. And to be honest, I think it has incredibly well. And I'm excited to see what you guys think about it as well. What was your guys' first exposure with the movie? or do you guys remember?
I don't remember, but I remember this movie. Because I remember for a while, it would stream on like the old Disney XD,
Okay.
and I remember watching it there like once or twice. But I don't remember much of it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So rewatching it now was like, oh, this is such a good movie. Like, I didn't remember anything.
Yeah.
And it's-
I'm trying to think of my first years watching this, and I literally can't. But
Yeah.
whenever I think about this movie, I think, man, I was so emotional.
Yeah.
But I don't know where I got that idea from. Because I've seen this hundreds of times, like, but I can't remember the first time I've watched it.
Yeah. Yeah, I fall into the same boat, but I just know that I loved it as a kid. And I think one of the things that I distinctively remember liking about the movie as a kid was the art style and the way that the animation is. Like, it feels like it's like an old school animation film where like frames were drawn out and colored and all of that stuff. And the movie is set in like a 1957, I think is the year that it's set in.
Yeah, the late 50s.
Yeah, and it's like it's got that late 50s, early 60s feel with all the cool cars and everyone dressed cool. Hogarth drives that cool bike, like, and it just has this like small town feel that I loved, and I still think it looks beautiful even now.
Yeah, the time period is interesting. I don't really you don't really get movies around the Cold War and stuff like that, and the paranoia that spread in with the first satellites to go up, and it's cool that this is around here, and it also is like just a deeper look into the human psyche and how we treat unknown things. Yeah, and it's a lot more complex than I gave it credit for at the beginning. As a kid, I was just like, oh, I like that. It's your classic like little kid finds pet and is able to teach it humanity and stuff. Yeah, it's kind of basic in that way. But
so is this movie just Arrival for kids?
Essentially
teaching them communication. I mean, I don't know.
You're not wrong.
Yeah, except like the Iron Giant doesn't give the humans some message like to help save humanity or anything like that. It's just
he's the one who's getting.
He goes there to learn. Yeah.
It's good. I really enjoyed this, and I liked seeing the characters. They did a lot with Hogarth that I didn't expect. Yeah. And my girl Jennifer Aniston is in this, which I did not get.
I didn't know.
My whole life I never knew that.
Yeah, me either.
I would have been riding on the heels of this if I knew that. Like, oh, watch it, Jennifer Aniston is this.
Yeah. I was kind of blown away to find out too the guy that plays Kent also plays Shooter McGavins in Happy Gilmore.
Oh, his actual name? Do you have it?
No, I don't. Here. I just know him as Shooter McGavin. He also plays you remember that movie Superhero Movie?
His name is Christopher McDonald.
Yeah.
Yes, I know exactly who you're talking about.
Superhero movie sounds so familiar.
With Drake Bell in it.
Yeah.
He plays the Dragonfly. Mm-hmm. You know the Hourglass guy? The villain in Superhero Movie?
That's him?
He plays Kent.
This man is so iconic and so familiar.
Yes, dude.
He's so familiar.
Anytime
You've
I
seen
see
this guy.
him.
Look at him.
Yeah, I just
Yeah.
Anytime I see that man, I'm like, oh yeah, that's Shooter McGavin. He eats pieces of crap for breakfast.
I'm trying to think what else do I know him from.
He's back in with his mom.
Yeah, he's in a ton. He's in a ton of stuff.
Yeah.
But I'm excited to dive into this and really break it down and see what you guys think about it. It's not currently streaming anywhere, so you do have to rent it. I believe I rented it on Amazon Prime for $1, which
that's a good deal.
Yeah, I thought it was a great deal. I originally tried to rent it on Vudu, but there was like 2 different versions of the film on there. And so I was like, well, let me check out Prime. And I found Prime, and it was, straight up $1 to rent it. And then, you get to watch it for like 2 days or something like that after
48
something
hours.
standard, right? But, yeah, it's a good movie. I would suggest either renting it or popping it in if you've got the VHS or if they release this on Blu-ray or something like that. Take an old trip down memory lane and come back with us and relive the movie. If you haven't watched it, I recommend checking it out. So there are going to be spoilers ahead, obviously. If you don't care about spoilers, then continue listening. Mm-hmm. But we'll go ahead and start here with our first favorite scene. My first favorite scene actually starts whenever Hogarth sees the giant for the first time.
Yeah. This is a good time.
Yeah. I don't know if you guys have anything before that.
I like the beginning a little bit just because it pulls you in quite quickly.
Okay. Go ahead and bring us in a little bit.
Yeah. So in the beginning, it's just some old guy in the deep sea, right off the coast of Maine, somewhere off Maine.
Yeah.
It says, it doesn't really say where, and it's pretty like stormy. Like if you think of like that show Deadliest Catch, where it's all like water over the boat, that's exactly what's happening in the beginning. And he's just yelling to the I'm assuming the lighthouse or
someone on the radio.
Someone on the radio, like, Mayday, Mayday, like, I need help, like, get me out of here. And then he looks up, and you see what we think is a meteor, or actually we see, like, almost like a satellite, right?
Yeah, well, we see the Sputnik up in the air.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's a shot from space. You see Sputnik orbiting Earth, and then something hurls down to Earth.
Mm-hmm.
And that's whenever we get the shots of the storm and everything that's going on, and that thing that's flying to Earth, like, smashes into the ocean.
Yeah.
And then that guy's boat gets
It literally rams into him.
Yeah.
It
like,
rams into it.
Like he like finds his way to whatever that thing was, and it's just the giant standing in the ocean.
It literally stops him.
And
it's because he thinks that it's the...
Yeah, he thinks it's the lighthouse.
And then he turns, and it's
the
two
eyes.
freaking eyes just beaming.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
And-
good.
Dude, I just want to say, dude, he's a unit.
I wish they gave us an actual
Distinct
size.
measurement.
Yeah. I want to know how tall he is, because he's freaking huge.
Yeah.
Gotta be at least, 100 feet? 100 stories, I mean?
Something. I don't know.
He's huge.
He is very big. I wish that they were distinct measurements.
I wonder if I can find it. 50 foot tall.
50.
Says the Iron Giant is a 50 foot tall, autonomous metal man.
Autonomous.
There we go.
I like this intro because it immediately is showing you the nature of the Iron Giant, because Fool crashes into him, he's drowning, and then the Iron Giant comes and saves him.
Yeah.
Pulls him up out of the water, and then it almost plays as a dream sequence, or like, was it real? Because he's on the rocks and he looks up and you see that same light, but then it's the lighthouse.
Yeah.
And you could really kind of be like, wait, did that all really happen, or was it just a bad storm?
Yeah.
And he kind of was hallucinating on the water and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But it's showing you the nature of the Iron Giant. He's friendly. He's gonna save you when you're in need.
Mm-hmm.
I guess he's here on accident.
Yeah.
We don't get that purpose of it, but we know that the next time we see this thing, it most likely will not be killing people.
Yeah. Definitely.
But yeah, no, the meeting of the giant was my favorite scene.
Yeah, and this is what, like, when it happens at nighttime.
It goes to the power plant.
Yeah, I love this whole sequence, and I remember loving this sequence as a kid because Hogarth gets put in a situation where his mom has to work late, and so she's like, I got to work late tonight. I'm not going to be home for a while, so there's food and stuff in the fridge. Make sure that you're good and eat some food, and you can't stay up past your bedtime. No scary movies, anything like that. And he's like, okay. And then, like, the next scene, you see Hogarth, like, filling Twinkies with extra whipped cream.
Yeah.
And just chowing down on these things. He built a little fort and is watching scary movies on the TV.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember, like, being so intrigued by the actual, like, movie that he watches on the TV with, like,
It's
the
an
brain.
interesting movie.
It's the worst acting possible, though.
Yeah.
He's like, I forgot my keys in the lab.
Yeah. Yeah. But, it's, for that time, supposed to be pretty scary for someone like Hogarth, especially, I don't know if it ever specifies
he's
his
9.
age.
I want to say he's like 8 or 9.
I think he's
Okay.
9.
For a kid his age to be watching something like that's groundbreaking
Mm-hmm.
and probably pretty scary. I remember watching Jaws at, like, age 10 or 11 and being terrified to, like, even go to the bathroom after.
Really?
Like, yeah. So I love this whole sequence, man. And it also, I don't know, it triggered something in me with, like, they really nailed this, like, mind of a curious child and, like, wanting to investigate and be like, what was that thing? And I love that we get to see this curious mind kind of just set out to see what it is that, you know, broke the antenna, and then looking over and being like, oh, there's actually a huge chomp taken out of my tractor. And there's also like broken fences and huge footprints. Like, what the heck is this stuff? And I like, you know, he goes and puts his boots on, his helmet, he takes his Red Ryder BB gun and straps a flashlight to it and just goes out into the woods to find out what this thing is. And I have to say too, the way that they like build up this ominous presence about like how big this thing is and the destruction that it causes, like it's kind of scary, like putting yourself in the position of an 8-year-old or a 9-year-old.
Oh yeah.
Going out into the woods alone, seeing all these trees and branches just cracked in half and like claw marks, it looks like, and all this stuff. You're thinking this thing is gargantuan and it's like scary and it could mess something up if it's tearing these trees down like nothing, right? And then eventually we get to a scene where Hogarth stumbles onto like that power plant, and it's like the camera is looking at him and the Iron Giant is like blending in with the trees, and then you see like the reveal of his eyes just kind of turn around. I just love the way that he gets revealed too. It looks like he's just kind of like he's a force of nature almost, or like he's like omniscient, like he can just be anywhere at any time because he like blends in with everything. But then as soon as those eyes turn, it's like
you're like,
oh
crap.
Yeah, he could literally crush this kid.
Yeah.
I put actually when he turns around in a bro moment, because I was like, dude, he popped out of nowhere, because I didn't notice him until I saw the eyes, and I was like,
yeah,
came out of nowhere.
Yeah, and I thought it was funny too, like whenever he goes to start walking towards Hogarth obviously fears for his life and is like, I got to get out of here and try and run away. And the giant barely misses him and like stomps on his gun and then just goes for that power plant and just starts chomping on the steel. Like he's just like, I'm just hungry. He just starts eating the... Oh, that it probably didn't look good. He just starts eating the steel. And I thought it was funny that he's just like, I'm just hungry. Just grabs that stuff and just starts taking chomps at it.
Yeah.
And Hogarth's sitting there watching him like, what the heck is this thing? What is it doing? And then it goes to like try to eat the actual like power generating parts of the power plant and starts getting electrocuted and gets tangled all up in the wires. And I low-key got so sad, like seeing him get all tangled up and just going, just like screaming in pain and everything.
That might be your relationship already with the Iron Giant. You
probably.
know that he's just like he's intimidating, but he's really just a child.
Big old teddy bear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That might be why you're already feeling bad. The reason I like this scene, because you would think that like the dynamics would be child wanders out in the middle of the night, child gets encountered by evil animals, and then the robot comes and saves the child. But the roles are really reversed here, where he is more like the quote-unquote father figure to this robot. This robot's like a baby, pretty much. He has to feed it. He has to teach it how to learn. He's got to teach it these more complex things about what a soul is, you know. And in this scene, it's Hogarth is the one who's saving the robot. Yeah. And he shows a little bit of his nobility, where he's like, he could have ran, but he sees the pain that the giant's going through, and he goes and turns it off. And the giant knows that. He notices that because he gives him that little thing afterwards. Switch. I just thought I really liked the dynamics, because you would, in any other child show, you would get the child being encountered by wolves. Yeah. And then the giant come to save him. And then that's where their relationship starts. But no, he does that, and then he's still a little uneasy about the robot. Even though he saved him, the next night he comes out and he's going, waka, 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 I got some food for you. And there's still a little uneasy, but there's that little bit of trust building there. And there's that, people described it as like a father-son relationship. And normally you think the tall one's the father, little one's the son. Yeah. But it's a little bit reversed in a very, very complete way. Yeah, I like that. Yeah. I also love too that whenever his mom comes and finds him, he immediately is telling her everything he saw. And she's like, get in the car, you're making this stuff up. And he's like, no, there was this Iron Man thing, it was 100 feet tall. And she's like, if you ever sneak out again, I don't know what I'll ever do without you. What if you got hurt and all this stuff? And it's just it's one of those things where you as the audience are like, dude, everything he's saying is true. And it's like,
as a parent, you're kind of like, you're making this stuff up. It doesn't really matter, right?
Yeah, I felt bad because when she said, "I'm not in the mood," I was like, "Oh, bro."
Yeah.
That hurt.
Yeah. But yeah, that's one of my first favorite scenes there.
Another one of my favorite scenes is the meeting Dean.
Oh, okay.
In the
diner?
In the diner.
Okay, this was funny.
Okay.
He's got his little pet squirrel, yeah.
whatever it is. Because I instantly thought, like, in a situation if that would have happened, like, today.
Oh, yeah.
Like, some guy just yells, "I'm sorry for what I'm about to do," and just pulls down his pants.
Yeah,
Oh,
I put that in a
jeez.
bro moment. Yeah.
It's one
I'd
of my
like to
favorite
apologize
scenes
in advance
in
for
a
this.
bro moment.
Yeah.
And but we get to see, like, Dean's character a little bit. Like, we get to see he goes for the old man who claims to see the Iron Giant.
Yeah.
But nobody's gonna believe you.
Yeah.
If I were to say right now, I saw a UFO. Actually, maybe now people.
Yeah, maybe now people would be like, "Whoa."
Yeah.
What would it? I saw a chupacabra. Say if I saw the chupacabra,
I'd be
nobody
like,
would
you-
believe.
I'd be like,
Nobody's
bro.
gonna believe me. I saw a chupacabra.
Yeah.
But Dean, just
Yeah.
being,
The kind of person he is.
What did he said? Something like
He
you
says,
gotta
like,
you gotta stick up for the kooks.
for the
Yeah.
kooks,
He
because
was-
nobody will.
Yeah.
It's a little wholesome, right?
It's a
Yeah,
little
it
wholesome,
is.
but and you just see, like, he just has no. To me, it's like he didn't have a care in the world, and, like, nobody's gonna judge him. Whatever
Yeah.
he says, who cares?
Yeah.
And we just get to see that person. And I didn't remember Dean from watching this.
Mm.
So seeing him was like a new character for me.
Okay.
For some reason, I thought Dean was played by Johnny Depp.
No.
He's not.
He has
Definitely
that
not.
aura.
But he has that, like, kind of carefree. He even looks like him slightly.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know, for some reason. There's a lot of memories I have that are mixed with other memories.
Yeah.
And we'll
that
get to
happens.
them. But there's a bro moment in the scene where he does that thing. It like pans to all of the customers, like, throwing their food, doing that.
Yeah.
Oh, there's one guy.
Spitting coffee in the girl's face.
For no reason. He straight up just goes, I'm like, he must have hated her. Because he had no business doing that. It was so funny.
Yeah. I also love, too, whenever the squirrel gets out and goes up Dean's leg, he's all, "Found your pet." Like, and he's all, "It's crawling up my leg, man. I can't do anything."
And then he
about
goes,
this."
what killed me was, "It's heading north."
Yeah.
And we know where that's going.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
It's super funny scene, and it's also a good, like, introduction to all of the characters.
Almost
that we
all of the
really-
characters, yeah.
Yeah, we find out, this kid's name is Hogarth. His mom works at this diner. Obviously, dad is somewhere not in the picture. This guy, Dean, randomly gets introduced as, somebody, somewhat of like a, kind of like a black sheep in the town, right? Nobody, he's obviously dressed different than everybody else, but also people don't give him credit for his, contribution to conversations or anything like that.
Right.
And, those themes and those characters only get more fleshed out as the story goes on. So, yeah. What's your next favorite scene?
It's a little bit farther down the line when he points the gun at the giant.
Oh, okay.
That's
Yes,
a
that's
bro
pretty
moment.
But we can talk. So the reason, they go on this whole spree because the giant is hungry, and they're trying to go out and find food, find any kind of scrap metal for the giant. And he goes in, and I really like the scene too where he's about to eat that, like, junk car that's been there for weeks.
Yeah.
And we see Dean pull up in his little tow truck to tow it away, and the way he hides is, or he's holding the burgers, holding
in
the
front of
burger.
the billboard.
Yeah, so he
Cosmo
like
Burgers?
he's blending in.
Yeah.
But that gives him the bright idea to go to the junkyard,
Yeah.
which is a great place for scrap metal.
Yeah.
And they go, and he's just having the time of his life. He's munching, he's making freaking loud noises. One of the car alarm goes off. He tries to sit on it.
Yeah.
It doesn't work.
He yeeted that
And
car.
then he goes, yeah.
What
I like
would you
to
do if you saw that?
he held the car and went, bam, bam. I was like, it's like exactly what a child would do to try to
Yeah.
stop this thing. It was so funny.
Yeah.
And then he puts it in his mouth. Yeah, exactly like a child.
Yeah.
Right, and I was surprised at Hogarth because he ends up coming out with a crowbar saying, "What's making all this noise?" And Hogarth goes and says, "Oh," he doesn't really question it, honestly, because it's a pretty loud noise. I'd be like, "Bro, there's something else out here."
Yeah.
But he doesn't think anything of it. He invites him in, and they talk and drink coffee and stuff like that. But he comes out the next morning and sees the giant.
No, he sees him
No,
that,
he
no,
sees
he
him that
that
night.
night.
Oh, is it that night?
Because
Yeah,
he goes-
because the
he goes-
giant goes and tries to pick him up because he thinks he's gonna hurt
You're
Hogarth.
right, and he tells him not to.
Yeah, he
But-
says Dean is our friend. We like Dean, and he's all Dean. He sets him down again.
Yes.
And the whole
He's a-
time afterwards, he's
he
all
just-
holding a coffee. He's all
Shaking like.
My favorite thing is they literally show him shaking. He goes, "Where did you come from?"
Yeah.
And he's still shaking.
yeah.
Oh, I was surprised though. I didn't think this early he would be like. It's kind of like, it's kind of. How do you describe it? It's kind of like an alter ego. You never want to get out, and you only like Spider-Man. You never tell him Peter Parker.
Yeah.
And once they do, it's like a big thing. So I figured he doesn't come out into the public until later on. But
Yeah.
no, Dean sees him right away, and he's able to. It's kind of like he's being treated like a pet,
Yeah.
really, in this moment, because he's
Yeah.
like, "Can he
He
stay
can't
here?"
stay at my place. Can he stay at yours?
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
like a dog trying to stay
Yeah.
somewhere.
Yeah. I have to say too, I really love the scene whenever Hogarth meets the giant again when he brings him out the scrap metal.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Okay.
And
I think that's wholesome.
that whole scene accompanied with like the train scene and then the hand being in the spillage.
All right.
All right, do I leave? Do I leave the middle of the podcast or?
We could cut it real quick.
We're good.
We'll cut it.
Oh wait,
Oh,
use my
man.
jacket. Use my jacket. Legit, use my jacket.
I can do mine too. This is real live editing.
We're raw and unedited.
There we go.
All right, here we go.
This is strictly for the YouTube audience only.
yeah,
There you. Hey, we have a dryer. They're back in there.
raw and
Yeah, okay.
unedited.
Anyways.
So what I was gonna say, the whole sequence with the train, him trying to eat the train tracks, and
Oh,
then
tell me that's
fixing
not.
it, and then the dinner prayer.
Dude, the dinner prayer was
when the
a bro
hand,
moment.
When the
Yeah.
hand is walking around and he goes, "Oh my God, we thank you for this delicious food." And I always thought that part was hilarious as a kid. Where
I
he was
literally
like,
just put that as a bro moment, and I put "Oh my God" in all caps.
Yeah.
because
I just love him too being like, "And stop the devil
dude,
from
yes.
doing bad things and leave Satan." Like that whole sequence is just hilarious to me. And backing up just a little bit, I love that Hogarth tries to teach the giant words after like he'd been sitting there for what seemed like probably hours trying to get to see if he's going to take the bait with this little piece of tin metal or whatever it is. And finally, the giant sits him down and shows him like, "Hey, you turned this thing off. You saved me," essentially. And I don't know. I just love the thought that like this giant is like just like a big infant,
Mm-hmm.
and like Hogarth, it's his duty to kind of teach him. And
He's got a little
like,
dent in his head.
yeah, and he was
Yeah.
like, "Oh, maybe like you don't remember where you came from because of this thing," and he like starts teaching him like rock,
tree.
yeah, and he goes rock.
The way that he's like his first words are not.
They're
not
horrible.
words.
No.
Like he. What is he? He says rock, but in such a like.
He's like, "Can you talk?" Blah blah blah. And he goes blah blah blah, blah, blah. Like
It sounds horrible.
and he's all, "No.
Don't do that.
Yeah.
You know what? I forgot about the train scene because that's one of the biggest. Like he legit.
It's stressful.
He gets hit.
Yeah. He
Like how is he
derails
going to
the
survive
train.
this? Yeah.
Yeah. And I also liked too how like Hogarth immediately, like he's only 8 or 9 years old, but he knows that like he knows the type of implications that people will have to something like
Well,
this.
yeah.
True.
I feel
And
like
he's immediately like, "You can't do this or act crazy or anything like that because immediately
No.
people are going to be geared to hate you,
Mm-hmm.
and they're going to be like looking for any reason they can to try to take you out. So if you make them think you're crazy, that's going to be all the more reason of why they should."
Yeah, I think he goes to say that like they're not ready for you.
Yeah.
They're not ready for you to come out.
Yeah.
I mean, because it's true.
Yeah.
Like you said, you brought it up. It's right in the Cold War areas, and
Yeah, there's already paranoia.
Yeah, there's
setting
already
in and
paranoia.
everything like that. And
so
if
it's-
something gets introduced to where people are going to have a hard time understanding it, it's only going to drive the fear like through the roof.
Yeah, especially if it's foreign.
Yeah.
Like the freaking military man says.
Exactly. And getting to that train sequence is just incredibly stressful.
It's a nail biter.
Like first it's funny, right? Because he's walking and he's like, "No, I go, you stay.
Yeah.
No following. And he just keeps following him, and he's like, no, stay. And he ends up following him all the way back to his house, and then sees these train tracks, and he's like, oh, metal. I'm going to eat it. And starts like tearing it up, and he's like, no, what are you doing? You can't do that. Put it back. And then train starts coming, and he's like, oh, crap. Okay, like, you need to lay it back down, flatten it, connect these pieces, and like, we even get to see a bit of the Iron Giant being like a perfectionist.
Yeah, him
right, where
like,
he's like, I got to get it right, and then because of that ends up getting hit by the train derails, and then like pieces of the Iron Giant start flying everywhere because you just took this hit, right? And that's where we get to see like that, like he has like sort of like a homing beacon or something like that for like his parts or something like that, to where like if anything ever flies away from him, it will come back. And I've always
like a boomerang.
Yeah, I've always liked that scene, and I've always just thought that it served for a better comedic purpose, because now he's got missing parts, and those missing parts could be anywhere. We got to try to find them and get the Iron Giant back to being whole. And you know, he hides the giant in the barn and is like, you need to stay here and like don't come out, wait until I come back in, I'll tell you what to do. And he's like, okay, goodbye. And the Iron Giant goes, bye. And he like has no hand. And then that's when we get to see that his hand is like walking around in the house, watching TV, smelling dinner, and all this stuff. And while that's going on, Kent from the government, who is like been sent by the government to try to figure out what these stories are about this thing from another planet coming to this town, he's around investigating, and he found out that, you know, Hogarth could potentially be the key to all this. So he like invites himself in and is trying to figure that out. And
also illegal. Yeah,
while he's around looking for clues, the hand is walking up around upstairs and all that stuff, and Hogarth has to like excuse himself to be like, I gotta go to the bathroom, and pushes the thing out. And like from the parents' perspective, he's in there like pushing out a dirt stick.
Dude, that's so funny.
Like he's out there just going like grunting, and they're like, are you okay? Do you need help? And even Kent is like, this is the instance where like it's best that you chew your food. And like the mom is like, what are you who are you? Like, who are you to tell me what my kid to do, right? And then you know, pushes it out, a big old thud happens, and then all of a sudden Hogarth gets the bright idea to like sit on the toilet real quick. And then, you know, he's down there looking like he's pooping, and his mom comes in and he's like, yo, Mom!
And he's a privacy.
Yeah. And it's just a whole good sequence too, where even after that, Hogarth goes back into the barn and shows the Iron Giant all of his comic books, and is like, look at these, like Mad Magazine, that's super funny. These are my favorite right here. Look at Superman. You want to be like him. He's a superhero. He uses his powers for good and never for evil. And then like he even gets introduced to like what a villain is, and he's like, he's the bad guy.
And of course it's a robot.
Yeah, and he's like, you don't want to be the bad guy.
Yeah.
Like you always want to try to, help and do nothing out of evil or anything like that. And it's just a great little sequence, I thought. Yeah. What are your guys' next favorite scenes?
My next one is tricking the military the first time.
Oh, okay. I got the lake. Can I hit the lake first?
Yeah. That one is actually a bro moment for me, because I said, bro made a tsunami.
Dude. As a kid, I always wanted to do this for some reason.
Why not? Like it seems like so much fun.
Seeing this as a kid, I was just like, that would be so sick to like have this thing come in and have all that water go everywhere. Like as a kid, I always thought that was cool. But the context behind this is that, the giant has been staying at the junkyard with Dean,
making art sculptures.
Yeah, and Hogarth goes after school back there to see what's going on, and they're hanging out and playing with one another, and they go to the lake after or something like that. Oh, it's because he does the car thing.
Yeah.
And they're having fun, and he like picks Hogarth up in a car and like basically like does like a at-home carnival ride.
Yeah, at-home twister, dude.
Yeah, it just freaking spins him around in circles. I always thought that looked cool too as a kid, but
I'd be puking so much.
Yeah, but afterwards, they are like pooped out, and he's like, dude, come on, let's go to the lake. Like, it'll be fun. and they make Dean come along with them.
Mm-hmm.
And first off, the way that they showed this lake, as a kid, I was like, dude, that lake looks so beautiful. Like, it's got this like
It's like a swimming.
like bluish green water.
It reminded me
like-
of Convict Lake.
Yeah.
Oh, dude.
Like it was
It was
gorgeous.
beautiful.
looking. And it made me want to swim in it as a kid. And I
Yeah.
was always like, man, I want to jump off that rock that
Mhm.
he does and go in there and just swim around. It looks sick. And I love that like Dean comes along apathetically and is just kind of like, yeah, it's a lot of fun. Cool.
Mhm.
He's just sitting there reading the newspaper. And, Hogarth tries to get Dean to jump in and he's like, it's not happening. I'm not doing it.
This was where I was laughing because Hogarth is literally freezing.
Yeah. He
He's
goes,
goes-
he's all, you big weenie.
yeah, that's what made me laugh.
Yeah.
I
He's funny, man.
Yeah.
And just Hogarth even trying to get the giant to get into the water. And he's like, come on in. The water's really refreshing.
Yeah.
And like the giant just kind of staring at him and just kind of like starts to walk away. And at first thought, you're like, oh man, like,
he's just gone.
he's going away too. He's like, no, I'm going to go eat or something, right? And then he's like, oh, all right, whatever. It's just me in the lake by myself. This isn't fun. And then all you hear is, dum, 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 dum. And you see that giant just jump and scream, bonsai! Cannonballs into that thing. And then you see this, like, the water displasion just go through the roof. Like it looks like a mushroom cloud almost of just water just come out of this lake, and it like floods all over. It takes Dean out into the road,
chair.
like into the chair. He's just holding on for dear life. Yeah.
Yeah.
And like that truck comes by and he's all, hey, you're right in the middle of the road. And Dean is just like, yeah, like just super annoyed. And then you see Hogarth on top of a tree just being like, yeah,
Like a little kid.
And then the giant's just sitting there in the middle of the lake being like, what the heck just happened? Yeah, it's just a fun scene I always loved.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, go into yours real quick.
So that goes into mine, which is what is that guy? What is Kent? What's his name? Is that his name?
Kent Mansley.
Mansley. What? So he is an FBI agent. What is he? Military
He,
FBI?
he works for a branch of the government that handles like
The secrets.
like
For-
unknown phenomena or something
I'm
like
just gonna
that. I
call
forget
him the
what it's
Men in
called.
Black. No,
Yeah, he might as well.
he
be.
might as well be,
But-
honestly.
But he does have ties to the army, or he has available access for the army to come check something out.
Yeah, so it involves this guy, Kent. And he is just breaking every law he can just to get any information he can to even get the military there.
Yeah.
Like, obviously we know it's true, but he hasn't gotten evidence that it's true. And so we get to a scene where it's literally right after the lake. Hogarth gets there super late and goes and puts his bike in the barn and closes his door, and Kent goes, "You're late for dinner." And when he was in there, I was so mad.
Yeah.
I was like, "Why are you waiting on this kid?"
yeah.
He's a
Well, we
predator.
even come to find out that he rents
Moves
the room
in. He moves in.
that was previously opened.
Yeah.
And he's like, guess what? I'm going to rent the room and I'm going to know everything about you and what
He's
you're doing.
He's a predator.
Yeah. And I even like, I don't know, like it irked me to, because of the way he was acting, like he almost acted like he was like trying to be his dad.
Yeah,
A little bit.
Like
No,
he'd be
yeah.
like, you're late for dinner. Like it was like, I don't even know who you are. Like I barely know you 2 days.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Yeah, and so Hogarth tries to run, and Kent closes the door, and it's like, "It's just me and you, just the guys. You're not leaving till you talk."
Yeah.
And then he just says like some threatening things to a kid that like no kid should ever hear.
Yeah.
And
He's
finally,
like threatening to like place him in a different home.
yeah, like take his mom away from him. Things that you don't want to hear.
Yeah.
And he's just sitting there, and finally he goes to the part and just puts his head down and says, "He's at the junkyard, here and here and here and here." And then fast forward, he tries to escape. Kent's watching him like a hawk, bro.
Well, we originally too, it gets built up like it's a dream sequence.
See, but this
See,
is
that's what
Well,
and that's the thing is that it's not. It gets built up like it's a dream sequence where like he like corners him in the barn.
oh yes, and he
and all that stuff,
chloroforms
and then he
him.
like chloroforms him,
dude.
and then like all of a sudden like he's just in bed, right? But
in
like
his pajamas already.
Yeah.
So that means he unclothed him and put clothes on him.
Yeah, so like like I said, it gets built
Predator,
up like it's like
bro.
like it's a dream sequence, right? But we come to find out like how else did this guy know that he was at the junkyard? So like this actually did have to happen.
It happened.
Like
It happened.
that's
He
freaking
was on the
crazy.
phone
Trash.
with the general, wasn't
When
he?
he woke
Yeah.
up, yeah.
Yeah.
And then again, so that's we see that part, and then you can't just put booby traps all over, and like was like, you're not leaving.
Yeah, nailed the windows shut.
Yeah.
All that stuff.
And
Yeah.
then finally they both fall asleep, and Hogarth is able to escape, but tricks him and puts his, I think it's the helmet.
yeah, his little helmet.
And I love it because he just walks by and says, "Good morning, Kent." And I was like, "Ooh, yes." And
Yeah.
then the military's all showing up, of course.
At
And
the
then-
junkyard. And
at the junkyard.
freaking Dean's like, I'm glad I got a sale coming up. Like, this is great. You can come and see this.
Yeah.
And we're like, wait, hold on. Aren't you supposed to be hiding him?
Yeah.
But then-
But then we see the Iron Giant, but it's in the shape of like a jet with like a face.
No, he's
wanna
like
say-
it's him, but he like poses him in a way to where he's like, oh yeah, it's a big art piece.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't know what he's shaped as. It
Yeah.
kind of just was like a mishmash.
It was
Yeah.
it was a bunch of metal
Yeah.
together.
And basically he's like, yeah, I got this one company that already put out a huge bid on him, but if you want a counter bid, like I'm all ears to see what you might be willing to pay for it. And they're immediately the army is like, you're wasting our time here, dude. Like this is just some art piece, and like this is not what you said it was, right?
Mhm.
And then Kent like gets reamed after, which is so satisfying.
It's
Yeah.
so satisfying.
I like totally identify with Hogarth, like sitting in the window being like sitting there watching him, and he's just getting like, I want everything you've got in your office packed and you're out like by the end of the day, you know. And Kent is just like, but it's incredibly like vindicated. Like I feel vindicated when I see him just getting ripped into after we know that you know all the stuff that he's been doing to Hogarth. And yeah.
But I liked it because that was a huge success on Hogarth and Dean, because they didn't take the Iron Giant away,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I loved it.
Can I say too real quick, just off topic? I always wanted Dean's robe.
That like with the, got the
With
yin and yang on
yeah,
the back.
the yin and
Yeah.
yang on the back. It's like red with like black trim, and then got the yin and yang on the back. I was like, always as a kid, I was always like, that thing is cool. I want one of those,
that thing's
dude.
tight. yeah.
Yeah.
I noticed it when he gets taken up. This is after this is when he goes kind of in defense mode.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay,
I
that-
put like the last 20 minutes of the film as like a huge favorite scene.
Yeah,
Because
that's-
like
There's so much that
immediately,
happens.
like this picks up right where your favorite scene is, where he like sees the gun.
Yeah, and he immediately pulls the gun out and he's like, he's playing like stick up. He's like, stick him up, and he immediately goes into this. His eyes turn red. They get like zeroed in on the gun, and it's honing in, and he's like charging up his eye lasers.
Well, yeah, because earlier in the movie, Hogarth tells the Giant like guns are bad. They
And he
kill
goes,
because, and he zaps it because the what's it called, the hunters killed the deer.
Yeah, the deer.
And the
that's
deer was
whenever-
like-
yeah, that's whenever Hogarth has to explain death
Yeah,
to the Giant, and is like, yeah, it's dead now. Like people kill things, and things die.
mm-hmm.
And guns are bad.
Guns are bad.
kill. And he like even then in that scene, like his eyes constrict and like get angry for a moment, but then come back. And he
Mhm.
kind of like comes back too a little bit.
Right.
And then this is the second part of the film where that happens again, but we see that it's in reference to like seeing the weapon,
Mhm.
right? And yeah, I think it's incredibly smart, and like seeing that it happens at first, it locks on, but then like it doesn't work for some reason. So like Hogarth jumps down,
Tries to
and you
fix
see
it.
these freaking lasers just go like bust through like a school bus. and
Literally
all
could have
this.
killed him.
Yeah. All this stuff, and everything just happens. Dean looks over and is like, what the heck just happened? And then Hogarth, not thinking of
Does it
anything, is like,
again.
all right, let's go back at it again. And
Mhm.
starts trying to do it again, and then immediately locks onto that gun again. And
Yeah.
Dean saves him. And yeah, you can take it from here.
Yeah, Dean saves him, and every time he does shoot his laser, he kind of snaps out of it and is like, what just happened?
Yeah.
That's kind of what the Iron Giant is thinking. So he's still a little innocent. He doesn't quite know what his role is and what's going on, other than that, like, somewhat defensive.
Mhm.
And after it happens twice, Dean saves him, and he immediately is like, we don't trust you. Get out of here. Like, it, like treats him like a villain.
He calls him a big gun.
Yeah. And that hurts the Giant's feelings
But
bad.
he just says, I am not gun. Or no gun or something like that.
He said, and then he said, get out of here. And he goes, no. What? Why?
Yeah.
Like he's starting to understand.
Yeah.
And then gets his feelings hurt and runs off. And I think this is also when Hogarth runs off with him.
Yeah.
And then it's when he picks up the gun and realizes, like, oh, crap. It wasn't even, like, he wasn't just trying to kill him. It was like a defensive mechanism.
Yeah.
That's
he
a
reacts
program.
to he reacted to the gun.
Yeah. So he gets on his sick little motorcycle, goes off, picks him up, and takes him, and the Iron Giant ends up in Rockwell.
Yeah.
And that's when kind of
all hell starts to break loose.
all hell breaks loose.
You know, these kids are looking for him with binoculars, and they're like leaning a little too hard on this awning, and it breaks. They end up like dangling by a thread, cliffhanger style, and then the Giant like has a chance to come in and save them, and it's in a public square, like it's in like a very public point and area throughout the town. So all of these people see this huge Iron Giant coming in and saving these kids, and immediately their first impression was like, holy crap, this thing just saved these kids. Like, that's amazing. And they kind of have this whole thing where everyone is kind of looking at him. And I even love that shot too, where Hogarth is like standing on his shoulder or in his hand or something like that, and his mom comes up, and he's just kind of standing there, and he goes, "Hey, Mom," like, and it's super like peaceful and wholesome at first, and this is the point where everyone gets to see like this is what all this hubbub was about, and he just saved these kids. Like, he seems pretty nice.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden, a missile just comes out of nowhere and hits the Giant in the back, and like now there's this whole firefight going on, and Giant's trying to run away. He's got a kid. He's got Hogarth in his hands. He's trying to run away. Dean runs and tells them like, "Hey, stop shooting." You know, he only ever reacted to any sort of violence or anything like that out of a defense mechanism, and he has Hogarth with him. He's got a kid. Like, you got to be careful. You could kill the kid.
Oh, and Kent says, he said, "Oh, don't worry, I'll take care of this." Goes up to the general and says, "General, we got to get this guy quick. I just heard that he just killed a kid."
Yeah.
Like, trying to elevate and escalate the situation even more.
Yeah, such a bro moment.
Instigator.
Yeah.
It's real frustrating. But this whole scene of him having to he goes off the cliff and he's falling, and then he realizes he has like rockets.
Yeah.
He can fly.
This made me tear up so hard.
For some reason.
Whenever he finds out he can fly, and then like he's just like flying, and Hogarth is like, "You can fly?"
And he's like, "Put your hands out."
Said, "Put your hands out like Superman." And he starts going flying. And I was just like, so they're tearing up. I don't know. I loved it.
Yeah, and it was good because he gets into those defensive moments, and then he shakes out of it, and he's like, "No, I'm not doing this. I'm not gonna succumb to that."
Yeah, because there's these jets.
Yeah, the jets, the freaking Maverick jets are coming in and shooting him, and and then he does the sick maneuver where he like
stops in air and pushes his like little thrusters back to
It's so cool.
Deflect.
Yeah, and it's at this moment where he's flying, and they finally think they made it clear, and he gets hit by, I think it's like a battleship.
Yeah, something like
either that or a jet or something hits him to where he gets knocked out of the sky.
Mm-hmm.
And the mom sees everything. He's got Hogarth falling, and they land.
Yeah.
Hogarth is dead.
Yeah.
Like in real life. Come on. Hogarth is dead in real life.
The
right?
with the amount of force, for sure you're
and
dead.
he's metal, bro.
Yeah.
Like he's going ding, 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 ding. Like
But
Hogarth is dead.
Hogarth is like looking like a Family Guy character.
Yeah, he's got like
just mangled,
broken in every part of his body.
But
he's Brian from he's Brian from Family.
Yeah.
The Iron Giant, they think they get it. Iron Giant wakes up and sees Hogarth and just thinks that he's dead. Because he goes to touch him just like the deer, and he reacts like the deer.
Yeah.
And he
goes into a rage.
He goes into a rage. He goes into battle mode.
He goes into like a revenge spree.
Yeah. He gets up, he completely succumbs to the rage.
Yeah.
His head shrinks in, tentacles come out.
Yeah.
He's got weapons on his arms.
Yeah.
He's going in and just wrecking all the military people, and nothing will stop them.
Yeah.
And it's really intense, and it's a good part of the character arc, because the only reason he had any tie to humanity is for that one kid who treated him like he wasn't a villain.
Yeah.
And now that he's dead at the hands of the people shooting him,
yeah,
I would be like, yeah, take care of it. You know what I mean? Like you don't
definitely.
feel very sympathetic towards the military that's there. You're like, they get what's coming to them.
Yeah.
They're the ones that are instigating this.
Yeah.
And it was good to see him finally, release it all, but we know that's not good.
Yeah, that's
And
not him.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we end up getting the reveal that Hogarth didn't die,
Mhm.
and that he just got knocked unconscious or something like that. His
He got
know,
knocked out.
mom and Dean come and pick him up, and they're driving him back. They need to get him to the hospital or something like that. And while that's all going on, and while the giant is blowing stuff to smithereens, we get like intercuts of Kent and this general talking to this naval ship that's like off the coast that has like, is it like a nuke?
I think it's a nuke.
I want to say it's a nuke.
Yeah, like it's got some sort of warhead. It's a bomb.
Yeah.
And Kent gets the bright idea to be like, the only way we could take this thing out is if we bomb it.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, if we can like, get the townspeople out of the town and keep the giant here and lure him somewhere within the town, we can tell that ship to bomb this town and then it will take it out, hopefully.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, that's the craziest thing I ever heard, but it might be our only way.
Yeah, nothing else is working
to stop it, right? And so everything's going on. All that chaos is happening. I forget how Hogarth like gets out of the car. Or something like that.
He
Or
just
like,
gets out. Like they're getting apprehended, and then he looks back, and
Yeah,
the
just
car's
gets out.
empty.
oh, okay.
Because he literally wakes up and was like, "Go back,"
Yeah.
and then the military is like, makes a brigade or whatever they call it.
A barricade,
A
and they just kind of stop
They
him.
stopped him and they're like, he needs to go to the
runs out.
hospital, or the kid needs to go to the hospital, and then that's like
He
Nick
sneaks
said,
out
he
and
sneaks
yeah.
out and
is
just
running.
runs.
And
Yeah.
scene is super powerful.
Yeah, it is.
It reminds me of all those like protesters standing in the way of tanks and in the way of like burning stuff coming at them, and they're
Yeah.
still standing firm. He goes all the way up to he's got this massive chest beam that's
Yeah.
charging up. That's it's gonna like it does like when he misses
It's
that
like a-
thing.
It's
That's an EMP
Yeah.
times 1,000.
Yeah.
It's insane the damage it would have done. But he tells him I forget the quote, but it's something like you're not, or you get to choose who you
you are.
want to.
Yeah,
You get to choose who you are.
Yeah. He tells him.
You choose who you be.
You are what you choose to be.
Yeah.
and
You
then
choose,
he goes,
yeah.
Superman.
No,
Yeah.
no,
Well,
no,
no,
that's not yet.
that's
not yet.
that's a different one.
He keeps saying, he says, like, this is not you are, you're not a gun.
Yeah.
You are who you choose to be. And then he tells him, choose. And he kind of like stands there and is just like, I'm waiting to see if he's going to shoot me. or
Yeah,
not.
the Iron Giant has this massive
Just-
like rail gun
yeah,
pointed
just-
at him.
Ready to fire. And then you see it start to kind of power down.
Yeah.
And he starts going back to his normal form.
And he says Hogarth.
yeah.
And it was just really powerful to me because this is like the one tie that he has to humanity.
Yeah.
And to see him back and to pull him away from that rage and that anger he had.
Yeah.
It was real powerful. And to see this little kid stand in the face of a massive weapon, like
Yeah.
it was just powerful.
Yeah.
Oh, bro. no.
Incredibly powerful.
I would cry.
Yeah.
And it
then
gets to that scene too where Hogarth, they're coming back and
there's just tons of smoke
Yeah.
that's covering everything.
right.
And you see all these military kind of just pointed at the smoke, knowing that the Iron Giant's somewhere on that side, right?
Mhm.
They don't know that he's transformed back. So they're preparing for the worst possible situation.
And Dean, being the freaking goat he is, he's talking to the general as Ken's there too, and he's saying
Yeah.
the only way that he acts aggressive is if you shoot him. So put your weapons down. Do not do anything.
Yeah.
And then you've got the devil over here
Yeah.
saying, he's going to kill us all. Put your weapons up. Shoot
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
Kent is saying all that. And
Yeah, he's telling him launch the missile, do all that stuff.
yeah. Well, eventually the Iron Giant gets there and he says, don't shoot.
Yeah,
Put your
yeah.
weapons down. And then freaking Kent's not having it.
Yeah.
Well, then, because the general goes and tells the naval captain or whatever he is, and he's about to say, don't do it.
Don't shoot
And
it.
then that's when Kent grabs the walkie-talkie and says, launch the missile.
Yeah.
And,
And they do it.
gosh.
And then it's just like the captain goes, or the general goes, this missile is locked onto the coordinates of the robot. Where's the robot at? And it's
Yeah.
literally right there. You're like, you
Yeah.
just doomed us all to death.
Yeah. And I it's so frustrating too seeing Kent be like, well, we can duck and cover. And he's like, no, you're going to stand here and you're going to take this like a good soldier. And he said, we're going to die now. You have sealed our fates and you have put us all in this position. So now you're going to stay here. And he's like, screw this country. I want to live. He like tries to hijack a Jeep and then the giant ends up stopping him. And then the general like arrests Kent and tells him like, make sure he stays here and takes this like a good soldier. And it's like super depressing.
It gets emotional.
Like, it gets emotional, right? Because all you just hear are these just alarms just going off, these wow. And then you hear all these people being like, oh my gosh, like
should we go undercover?
Yeah, like should we go undercover?
And Dean's like
it won't make a difference. We don't have anything over here. Like this is it. This missile's going to come down and it is going to kill us all.
Yeah. And this is the scene. This is the tearjerker scene.
Yeah, this is where I cried.
This is where I teared up.
This is my last favorite scene too. When, he recognizes the situation and he's gonna choose to sacrifice himself.
Yeah.
And he talks to Hogarth and he like puts his finger up to him and he goes, "You stay.
You stay.
I go.
No following."
Yeah.
Right there. I was like, ugly crying. Yeah.
He takes a couple steps back, and rocket jets off, and then you just see him going. You hear that?
You hear him flying up, and you hear Hogarth saying, "You are who you choose to be."
Yeah,
and then you hear him say, "Superman."
Oh,
and he hits the bomb, and it goes off.
Yeah,
and you're like, no. But this is the scene I was crying at.
Yeah, it's
I will
incredible.
say the ending maybe tear up a little bit because Hogarth gets a box from the general.
Yeah.
And he goes, this is the last piece that they found, and he thinks it's only right for you to have it. And it's a bolt that we see that he needs to go in his jaw. And we see that at the barn scene. And then we see that he just displays it in his house. And then it moves. And then that's when he put two and two together. He goes,
yeah. You see it start tapping the window, and it has the little beacon thing that's going on.
I don't know what he says.
He just says like he says
like,
see you later.
See you later, something like that.
Yeah.
And then he just opens the window and just goes, and then that's the end of the movie.
Yeah. And we see like he's somewhere in Iceland.
Yeah.
Like in pieces, and all of his parts are kind of moving back together. And then
you see a freaking leg just going dong.
Yeah. And then you see his head with the little beacon thing calling all of his stuff back, and his eyes open up, and he just kind of smiles at the camera, and then it cuts to black, and
you're like, oh.
Yeah.
A good little sequel bait.
Yeah, love it. But yeah, that's the end of the film. Such a good one. I'm so glad that we came back to it. And it's something that I haven't watched in a long time. So, we got any best quotes here?
I am not a gun, but in the Giant's voice, I am not a gun. In Vin Diesel's voice.
Yeah.
And then you are who you choose to be.
Yeah.
And he goes, you choose. And then he goes, choose. Like he's gonna die. Either kill me, or,
What if
peaceful.
he killed him? It would that'd be like a Rick and Morty, like Family Guy, like edit, where he just look at him and just goes, like just a black spot on the concrete after.
I would watch it though.
It's just ash.
I would watch that movie to see the carnage.
Yeah, I would too. Dude, oh man, that would be funny. Mine is the obvious. You are who you choose to be. I didn't have any other best quotes after that.
I didn't write any down. Sorry.
All right, let's get into some bro moments we haven't talked about.
Yeah. Let's see what we've got here. Oh, I was gonna say, okay, the duck and cover commercial. First off, absolutely ridiculous.
Oh, the bomb prep. Stuff at the school.
If a nuke is coming down, just duck and cover. You'll be all right.
Duck and cover under your desk.
But okay, tell me if I'm the only one. I think I am. Do you guys know the Rice-A-Roni commercial?
Which one? I've seen some.
It's like, do you know the little jingle that the Rice-A-Roni has? It goes, Rice-A-Roni, a San Francisco treat.
No.
Well, I mix that with duck and cover.
Oh, really?
And every time I see a duck and cover commercial, I think of Rice-A-Roni now. And I hate it.
You saw this commercial, you said, "Oh, bro, I need some Rice-A-Roni."
Yeah, I said duck and cover, a San Francisco treat. It's stupid, but yeah, that commercial is ridiculous, and they I can't believe it's like false hope, really.
Yeah. Any other bro moments we haven't talked about? All the ones that I wrote down, we've hit.
Yeah, The bomb prep one was my next one.
Yeah,
Okay.
Superman, Cannonball, the full Dragon Hogarth,
Twinkie with whip.
Yeah.
and the sequel bait.
The tsunami. Yep.
Yeah, unfortunately, I mean, we'll hit into facts here.
Yeah.
This movie, there was sequel bait at the end of it, but
I
think
so.
because of the budget,
Yeah.
they were not going to run for a sequel here.
Unfortunately.
Absolutely not.
So it took $70 million to make this movie. Opening weekend, it made 23 point, or excuse me, I'm reading it wrong. Made 5.7 million. Gross for U.S. and Canada made 23.3 million, and gross for worldwide made 23.33
Yeah.
Out of 70.
out of
This
70.
movie,
And I have another fact with the budget.
yeah.
So it received a lot of high ratings from critics, but it's deemed a failure because there's a movie that came out the same day, which was The Sixth Sense.
Oh, yeah.
And-
that was a big movie.
I have the budget right here. It's $40 million to make it, and I'm just gonna say the gross worldwide. It made $672.8 million.
Oh,
Jeez,
we
man.
took
So
all
that-
the money away.
Yeah.
It literally came out a day apart.
Yeah. I'd also
And that's
heard
Bruce
too
Willis too, right?
That's Bruce
Yeah.
Willis. Yeah.
I'd also heard too that Warner Brothers did a really poor job of promoting the film, and that will kill a movie as
That
well.
would
Oh,
kill
yeah.
a movie
if you
for
don't
sure.
if you don't market your movie correctly or promote it in the slightest, no one's gonna watch it.
Yeah.
And yeah, especially with that paired up with releasing in the same time as The Sixth Sense.
The Sixth
That is
Sense
just-
such a good movie too.
Yeah, and that's just like a
Completely cannibalized.
yeah,
it.
like yeah, you're
You're feeding it to the wolf.
yeah.
There's nothing you can do. It's
Yeah, that's like vying for eyes when the Super Bowl is on.
Yeah.
You know, like that's like trying to be like, hey, we just put out a new episode, even though there's this huge sporting event that all of America is going to be watching.
Yeah.
Like no one's going to watch that thing right now.
That's why they moved Last of Us to Friday.
exactly.
and I think
It's the most goated
they'll
decision
go. They're so
ever.
smart for that.
yeah.
And it's kind of sad too, because when you hear the inspiration of this film and like how kind of wholesome it was, and how first off simple but also like really complex it is, you'd think that it deserves all the hype it should have gotten.
yeah.
He was inspired to make this film as a memorial to his sister Susan, who died at the hands of her estranged husband to gun violence.
Man.
He pitched this movie as a question: what if a gun had a soul and it didn't want to be a gun? And I just think that's so powerful.
Yeah, that
I don't.
is.
It's so simple, but it's so like, yeah, that can be incredibly complicated
Yeah,
to deal with. I
Yeah,
really enjoyed that.
definitely.
That is sad. Though.
I had also read too that this movie was based on a book
It is.
called The Iron Man, which was written by Ted Hughes. And actually the last name of Annie and Hogarth is a homage to the author.
Hughes.
Yeah.
Yeah. They had to change the name from Iron Man, obviously, because of Marvel,
Yeah.
but
from the Iron Giant.
Iron Man came out after the Iron Giant.
Well,
but
movie-wise, but
yeah,
comic-wise?
yeah, Iron Man has been a Marvel comic for
That is
years.
true. That is true. That is true.
Yeah.
And he was way more in the mainstream
Yeah.
than...
I mean, that makes me think of like the whole like because even Black Sabbath, whenever they made the song Iron Man, they got into legal battles
Really?
with Marvel when that song came out, and that song came out in like the late 70s. So like, I can only imagine the kind of legal trouble they would go through if they did that.
So, excluding all the yells and mumble and grumbles and groans that the Iron Giant does, he only speaks a total of 53 words.
Yeah,
Gotta be the smallest script ever for Vin Diesel.
yeah.
I think this is one of his most successful movies, too.
Either that or Guardians of the Galaxy.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh,
He's
it's Groot. Yeah.
Yeah.
He
He plays
excuse me?
like or Fast,
Fast and Furious?
True.
Yeah.
That makes me think too. Like he kind of does the same role here, but just with Groot now,
It's the same.
right?
I was
much
just
the
going to
same.
say.
Like except it just in Guardians and all that stuff, he just says I am Groot. That's it.
Yeah. Just 3 words.
Yeah, and he gets paid $50 million for it or something
Uh-huh.
crazy. Yeah. Any other facts here?
Yeah, I was going to say, do you guys want to hear some of the book differences?
Yeah.
I do.
It's quite a bit different. I wasn't expecting the biggest changes here.
you were right.
Let's hear it.
No, I just looked at Vin Diesel's best movie, and it goes Iron Giant, Avengers Endgame, and then Saving Private Ryan are his top 3. Iron Giant is his best movie.
Best movie by what standard?
It's got a, I forget.
On Rotten
the-
Tomatoes.
Oh,
Yeah,
like
it's
the
highest
Rotten Tomatoes
rated, I
score?
think.
Yeah.
Oh, highest rated.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I think that, that's what I
Fast
meant
and
to say.
Furious is not going to be up there.
No, definitely not.
Yeah.
Anyway, book differences. Number 1, earliest one, he has a mom, a dad, and a sister. And right whenever this is the cool thing, whenever he tells, you know how like he goes off to his mom in the movie and says like, I saw it. And she goes, oh, shut up. Well, he tells his parents that in the book, and they immediately are like, we believe you. Let's go find this thing.
Oh, wow.
And like truly believe him. Okay, so the next thing that's different, instead of him saving the giant, he plans a trap. He digs a massive hole and covers the hole. The Iron Giant falls into the hole, and they bury the Iron Giant.
What?
Yes.
That's such a massive difference.
Massive difference. He's almost like a villain.
Yeah.
Hogarth is a villain. Okay.
So funny, bro.
So the villain of the story is not the military. It's a dragon, a space dragon.
What?
That flies in, and they say it's like as big as Australia. It's huge. It's a massive space dragon.
Yeah.
And they dig
Bro pulled out
the
the
robot
Ender Dragon
out
from Minecraft.
to fight it. Hogarth, the Iron Giant can talk, and he makes a deal with the dragon, saying something like, if you copy me 3 times, if I can do something you can't do 3 times, then you have to obey me. You're basically my slave. But if you can, then you get to eat the whole world.
What?
You get to eat everyone in the world. There's like a soul sucker kind of thing.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Dude, that's the Ender Dragon from Minecraft, I'm telling you.
Really,
Yeah.
low key. And then the way that he defeats it is he digs another big hole.
He hits the gritty on him.
No, he does the I Spice dance. Have you seen that?
Yeah.
I
There's a little thing. Yeah.
I don't even know how to do it. It's
Oh,
so
I
funny.
wish. It would have made more sense than what happens. They dig a hole. They put steel beams. They put jet fuel in it. He lays on it, ignites the fuel until he gets white hot. Okay? And then he comes out of it a little bit damaged. And he tells the dragon, now you do that. And the dragon says, oh, okay, I will. You just have to have a fire big enough for me to get into it.
Kills the fuck.
And then he looks at him. He looks at the sun. He points at the sun.
Oh, it says go up there.
Yeah, and the dragon is like, he goes, are you for real? And he goes, yeah, that's it. Go do it. So the dragon flies to the sun. He comes back and he's crispy. He's got like holes in his wings, but he does it. But he was in agony.
Jeez.
He looks at him again. He goes, all right, light the fire again. And he gets back into the fire. He gets all white hot, comes out of it. He melts his ears off. Okay, and now he tells the dragon, go do it. And the dragon's like, no, please, I don't want to do this. Dragon goes up, comes back down, and he's even more tattered up.
What
like
the
on the
heck?
brink of death.
Yeah.
So he gets back in it.
Jeez,
he
man.
gets melted. He gets white hot again. And he comes back out, and the dragon says, I can't take any more of this. I surrender.
What?
Yeah, and there's this whole thing about, like, the dragon doesn't even, like, want to cause violence. All it does is go out the cosmos and sing songs.
What?
Yeah, it's way different.
I feel like this movie is a
Way better version of the
It's way different. So different.
That's
I
weird.
kind of want to see a dragon go in the sun and come back out, though.
Yeah.
That feels like a bad acid trip.
Yeah.
Like
You
just
tell me, man.
Yeah.
It goes even more, and like the one thing he tells the dragon to do is to fly around and cause peace, I think, or cause joy. And everyone who hears the songs just stops fighting because they're so overjoyed with the music.
Wow.
So
You know what song reminds me of that? I feel like it'd be Here Comes the Sun.
I was thinking Opa Gangnam Style.
and never just like like they're on the war zone and then they go.
No, it's
you
gonna
hear?
be no, or Cha Cha Slide. All you hear is to the left.
Take it back now. You know?
One on his side.
Yeah, I thought major difference. I wanted to bring those up because they were.
That's a
pretty
major difference. No, that really is a major difference.
wild. Yeah, massive dragon.
Yeah. If you guys were wondering about Hogarth's father, he's actually a fighter pilot. And it's actually shown, there's a photo of him on Hogarth's dresser, and it's pretty clearly visible during his standoff with Kent whenever we see them staring back at one another, having that staring match.
Yeah.
And it makes sense, too, even as to why he would probably have this helmet and all these other, like kind of like military gear and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So either he is out of the home, currently like in the
Stationed
service,
somewhere, yeah.
or he unfortunately passed away or something like that.
Yeah.
And then lastly, I thought this was pretty wild. Warner Brothers originally wanted John Travolta to do the voice of Dean.
Mm.
And they also wanted Arnold Schwarzenegger to do the voice of Kent Mansley. So could you imagine freaking Arnold saying, "Launch the missile now"?
Yeah, it would be less. you would have to change the design of the guy because that voice coming out of this like frail little redhead man
doesn't work.
Doesn't work.
I don't know about John Travolta either. You know?
Yeah, I couldn't tell you one way or the other on that one.
Any other facts?
That's all I've got.
That's all I got.
All right, cool. What didn't work? I have down here, I think the mom's character is a little underwritten.
Oh, yeah.
Underwritten?
She's just kind of...
Yeah. Like, she's just kind of there. And I kind of wish her character maybe got explored a little more. Or she got the chance to have, like, more actual time in the story. You know?
Yeah. She was really not... She was just, like, that worried parental figure.
Yeah.
I didn't really like Mansley, honestly. I thought the decisions that they made to him at the end and his, like, dodge the missile! I hate this world! Like, it felt random and not really consistent with the character that was built up already.
Okay.
And it kind of pulled me out of the movie. I was like, why is this guy acting like this when... Like, why is he trying to launch a missile that could kill all of them? And then once the missile does come, he's like, psych, I actually don't care about all the things I've been doing. I'm going to leave. I was just like, dude,
I think...
Be more consistent. I get it. Maybe it's like, oh, it's just a facade. Like, all he really cares about is himself.
I think...
But it's just...
I think he might have just gotten caught up, like, in the heat of it, you know, and just, like, was so... you know, wrapped up in the idea of destroying the giant that, like, he didn't care. He just like, took that thing and said, launch it, and didn't think twice about what the actual repercussions of it would be until someone sat him down and was like, yo, you just told him to launch a missile on our coordinates. Where's the missile going to land?
We're dead.
Right on us. We're dead. And he's kind of like, oh, crap. I'm getting out of here.
Yeah, right? He says, frick you guys. I'm out of here.
Yeah.
It just, I don't know. For some reason, it felt inconsistent. And
I wouldn't say this is necessarily a bad thing. I kind of just wanted more of the Iron Giant.
Yeah, it's an hour 30.
It's an hour 30. So it was quick, and I kind of just wanted more. Just more time with Hogarth and Iron Giant. I think we could make a great relationship between them two. And they already have a great relationship already. But like I said, it's not necessarily a bad thing.
Yeah.
I just wanted a little bit more.
Yeah. I had written down, too, also, I wish that Dean had a bit more motivation to actually help Hogarth. Like, because he just kind of shows up one day and is like, oh, yeah, you're that kid. Okay, yeah, I'll help you. Like, it's just kind of like, why, though? Like, why do you actually want to help? What's your actual motivation for helping? There's no real reason as to why.
Yeah, and do you feel that the love at the very end was a little forced too between Dean and
a little bit?
Annie?
Yeah, I mean the only real reason that they kind of get together is because they
survived
helped each other
almost
at the end. They survived,
right?
You know.
Although though, I didn't even say though twice. There is a scene where, Kent has his arm around the mom, and I'm like, bro, he's trying to fall in love with her too. And I'm like, it's just a battle between Dean and Kent.
Yeah. Well, who wouldn't with Jennifer Aniston?
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
What else didn't work? Anything else?
No, that's all I got. I mean, I did say some of the animation, and it took me out of the movie a little bit. There was times where I noticed either a lack of detail or a perspective that's not natural in the world. Like, I know it's animation, but they're trying to mimic real people, you know, doing real proportions and all that stuff. It's not like, you know, cartoonish. So some of the proportions and like some of the quick camera pans, I was like, it looked like weird. Sometimes it looked weird and like they looked 2D almost. Like it, I don't know how to explain it. I have to like show a scene of it happening, but I saw that and I was like, it was a little weird. So I will say the animation is not like tight knit.
Okay.
Although it is got its charms, and I do think for the most part it works.
Okay. Well, if that's it, let's dive into what did work. Personally, I love the animation style and the setting here. I love when the old school way of animating things gets brought to life, and like, yeah, Pixar movies and stuff like look great. They're pretty to look at. But
Yeah.
to me, nothing could ever beat like that hand-drawn animation style. Like I love the way it looks, and I love the love for cartoons and animation and stuff like that, and that they like took that much time and care and all that stuff to really go out and like draw these frame by frame and all this stuff. I just love that style, and I don't know, as a kid I've just always loved the setting of the town and the time it takes place and all that stuff as well. I think the movie is beautiful to look at. It's I like the cinematography that they use, as well as all the coloring and all that stuff.
Yeah. This movie made me want to relive a little bit of my childhood and just do things that I used to do when I was little. So seeing, I guess the nostalgia of it, of seeing the movie was like, man, because dude, for some reason I remember having like toys from McDonald's, and I feel like there was toys from this, like they put it out one year, and I always wanted one, and I never got one. And part of me just wants to go to McDonald's now and just get a toy and be like, I got a McDonald's toy, and like no one's gonna stop me. Like, but this movie just made me happy, because of Hogarth. I think Hogarth is my favorite character.
Yeah. I'll just say it's incredibly simple story. I think simple stories like this that have heart behind them work.
Yeah.
You've seen it in games like Last of Us. You see it in other movies that are just so incredibly simple. You have just two characters that have to get to know each other, and then there's situations that throw them away, but that gets thrown at them. But it always comes back to the two characters.
Yeah.
And their relationship. Like that's the story, and that's the heart behind all of the actions. And it's something that I cared about.
Yeah.
And I felt like these characters were real.
Yeah.
And it was animated. And yet I still felt like when Hogarth got hurt, I was like, oh crap, Hogarth is getting hurt right now.
Yeah.
And whenever I saw, the Iron Giant getting his feelings hurt and running away, I was like, oh, that's my guy. Like, don't hurt him like that, know? Like, he's just misunderstood.
Yeah.
And I just think it's wonderful storytelling.
Yeah.
Definitely. And it's, they set up these characters to be incredibly likable.
Yeah.
And it's literally a robot that hardly talks, 53 words.
Yeah.
And yet we still cry when he sacrifices himself at the end.
Yeah.
And it's wonderful.
Yeah.
Man, your actions can mean a lot of things.
Yeah. I will piggyback off you as well, Nick, in saying that the movie is just incredibly emotional and heartfelt. Yeah. And I had also wrote down that this movie feels like a big warm blanket.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it just feels comfy and cozy, and it's something at the end of it you're just like, man, that was great. I loved that. And I think that's due in part to some of the writing. I do think the writing could be improved in some areas, but for the most part it's just a great story. And I think Brad Bird, alongside all the other writers, just really did a phenomenal job with it.
Oh yeah, I'll even say the voice acting was great.
Yeah.
Voice acting, I feel like all the characters matched the voices matched the art that we were seeing. There was no none of it was off pacing. It all just worked real well.
Yeah. Real quick, I just remembered a bra moment whenever Hogarth slips chocolate laxative.
Dude, that's so funny.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's like has to go to the restroom.
Yeah. Anything else for what does work?
No.
I think
Simple,
we hit 'em
man.
all.
Yeah,
we hit them all.
Simple, light.
Who wins the movie?
That's so hard.
I literally think of, I don't want to say Vin Diesel wins it.
Yeah.
It's just the Iron Giant.
I think the Giant.
Yeah, the Giant
The
wins
Giant.
Yeah.
Not Vin Diesel, because he barely even sounds like himself.
Yeah.
But it is just the Iron
I
Giant.
don't know. I really do like Hogarth though.
Yeah. He's definitely deserving.
I guess
too.
it's a tie. It's just
it's kind of both of them.
it's both.
Okay. All right. I'm picking the Giant for this one.
Okay.
What are some themes?
I put the one that I feel like all of us could have got is you choose who you are.
Yeah.
You really do.
You are who you choose to be.
You are.
Mhm.
Who you
Yeah.
choose to be.
I think that's just the culminating quote, right? That just culminates the entire film right then and there.
Yeah.
Honestly.
I was watching a YouTube video. This man named John Solo. He was going on talking about the book, talking about the movie and all that stuff. And at the very end of it, he said something I think was really profound. And I think it really kind of sums up not only like the like it sums up the wider narrative that this movie kind of I think could pose. He goes, if we keep focusing on what makes us different rather than what makes us the same, we will end up destroying ourselves, and we don't have a iron giant to come and save us and pick up the pieces. And it's really true. I mean, like, you get to see all of the people. It's basically like, how does humanity react when something unknown comes? And you get to see pretty much the whole spectrum. You get to see fear. You get to see acceptance from Hogarth. You get to see paranoia from everyone. You get to see anger from Kent. It's just like a really unique way that humans, how we deal with not only foreign countries, but just UFOs or, objects we can't understand.
Yeah. I think that also just hits on like the militarism of America.
Oh, I wanted to bring it up.
Like how anything that is like immediately foreign is immediately met with opposition and is considered a threat, and it's like
it doesn't even matter if it's good. It's foreign, so it's bad.
Yeah, exactly. And in this case, it's the giant that is considered foreign, and he is a threat that we don't understand, so we got to take him out.
Yeah.
And I think the same thing.
It's a rival.
I think the same thing with Arrival, where those things come and everyone is like, "What do they want? We're gonna blow them out of the sky." And it's like, well, wait a minute,
They haven't done anything.
They haven't done anything to us to like make us want to hurt them. Right?
Literally nothing. They have zero emissions.
Yeah.
Like they're just
here.
They're just here.
Just there. Yeah.
And yet people are scared, fearful, angry, all kinds of the spectrum.
Yeah. How do you think our little...
Some people deny it, Like,
how do you think our city would react if we got something like that?
What?
An Iron Giant. Like an Iron Giant just showed up here. Say it landed at Main Street Park.
People are for sure reacting the same way, I think, unfortunately.
Going into the bunkers.
I would... I don't know what I would do, actually.
Yeah.
I would like to think I'd be like, bro, that's cool.
I'd be like, bro, who built that? You got a real life Tony Stark, man.
Yeah.
Who built this?
Yeah, seriously.
Elon go crazy with the robots.
Elon go crazy.
Yeah, seriously.
That's my first
Boston
thought.
Dynamics going crazy.
Seriously.
That they could do parkour. Yeah.
Man, the movements they're making is looking real human.
Yeah. Scary. Anything else for the themes? All right. What are we rating this?
Not me. I always go first. I
might give it a 7.5.
Okay. It might be nostalgia speaking for me, but I'm giving it a 10.
What?
Oh,
no way.
Yeah.
I'm going to give this one an 8.
Okay.
It's wholesome.
Yeah.
It is great, but it's not one of my favorites.
Yeah, it's one of mine.
Yeah. No, and it's totally okay.
Yeah. So when I rated it a 10, I was like, that feels
perfect for it.
It feels right for me. I love this movie. It does have its flaws, but
at the 10 for you,
it's one of my favorites.
Yeah, a 10 doesn't have to be perfect.
It's something I'll show my kids.
I'll say this right now, and I know you guys won't agree with me. And I'll say before even watching the movie again, The Sound of Music is a 10 out of 10 for me. Without even watching it right now, I will say it's a 10 out of 10.
Okay,
I couldn't even argue. I barely watched it.
Exactly. You wouldn't like it.
I might. You never know. Try me.
Never know.
I might choose it.
It's
a 3-hour movie, though.
I'll do an intermission.
There is an intermission in the movie.
Oh, is there really?
Yeah, it's like a 5-minute intermission.
That's what I posit.
All right. Well, that's the end of the episode, you guys. So thank you for sticking through. We appreciate you. If you did stick through all the way to the end, leave us a like on the YouTube channel, subscribe to the YouTube channel as well, and comment on the video, letting us know what either you liked or what you didn't like, or leave us a dislike too if that's something that you're feeling. Honestly, we just want your guys' opinions. We want to know what you guys are thinking about the episodes. We want you to dive in the conversation with us. Maybe there's something that we missed, and you want to let us know. Throw that in. We've had a couple of people throw comments in that were super interesting, and honestly, it's just a cool way to just further the conversation about the film, and it's something that I and the guys just really appreciate whenever you guys throw stuff in and talk to us. We appreciate it. So do that for us. It's great. If you don't watch on YouTube or anything like that, or listen here, and you listen on the audio platforms, you can do that also with a rate and review on the shows. So we post our stuff on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, all that stuff. So if you listen on the audio platforms, do that there as well, so that way we can also take into consideration what you guys are thinking about the episodes and stuff. You can get in contact with us through our episode description. We have all of our methods of contact there, our Instagram, Letterboxd, and email accounts. use those methods of contact to, either reach out to us, let us know what you're thinking, or, send us recommendations for the pod or something like that, or films you want us to check out, all that stuff.
Yeah.
As always, we're going to go ahead and reveal the next pick for next week, which is Nick.
It is my pick, and I'm picking a movie I've never seen.
Okay.
I know you have, and I know basically nothing about it. I was in the mood for a Frances McDormand movie.
Okay.
So we are going to be doing the 1996 film Fargo.
Yes. This is a very cult classic film.
Okay. I have no expectations. I know that it's going to be about a murder mystery in the snow.
Mm-hmm.
And
It's
I know
also-
that there's a Fargo show, too, which is connected.
I don't know if it's connected or not.
It probably-
I feel like it is, probably.
I don't know. And then there's an Argo,
Yeah.
which is just
That's
Fargo without the
completely
F.
different.
Completely different. There's so many things. I want to dive in. I have this. Lisa got it for me. It's a scratch off of 100 of the most classic movies ever.
Uh-huh.
And there's stuff like Shawshank Redemption. There's stuff. There are all kinds of No Country for Old Men. Castaway. Anything is on there you can think. And Fargo is one of them.
Okay.
So it's one of them that I'm expecting is great if it made it on the list.
Sound
Okay.
music on there too.
Is it? I think
It is.
not scratch. And it's so cool too because you get it's like a little movie ticket,
Uh-huh.
and then when you scratch it, it's got different art behind it.
It's actually
Oh,
really
okay.
cool. I saw it. I've seen
It's
it, and
sick.
it's super cool.
Like
Nice.
there's the There Will Be Blood is on there,
Okay.
and you scratch it off, and it's an oil well on fire.
That's cool.
It looks sick.
That's cool.
So I'm wondering what they'll do with this one.
You mentioned No Country for Old Men, which was directed by the Coen brothers. This movie
Yes.
is also directed by the Coen brothers.
So
It's going to be, you can expect comedy. If you've seen The Big Lebowski,
with the fool's name.
Jeff Bridges.
And
and Steve Buscemi.
Yeah, Steve. Yeah, I was thinking Steve Buscemi.
Yeah. Steve Buscemi's also in Fargo.
Is he?
Yeah. And, it's a Coen brothers movie, so you're going to expect their kind of style of comedy and all that stuff. And
Right.
the one time I did watch it, I enjoyed it. I had fun with it. So I'm excited to come back and really dive into it and understand what it is. It takes place in Michigan. So get ready for, or no, not Michigan, Minnesota.
Oh, do they have the accents too?
Frances McDormand the whole time has that Minnesota accent.
Does she really? Did
Yeah.
she pull it off?
Yeah, and she goes, "I need to go to the grocery store to give me a bag."
A
all that-
bag.
yeah, all that stuff.
Oh,
So
I'm
I
excited.
don't even know how to even
Yeah.
talk in Minnesota
It's-
accent.
it's pretty funny. We'll dive in.
Yeah,
I'm excited.
Looking
My
through
first
the
time.
cast, William H. Macy. You know him?
Yeah,
I know him
Frank
from-
Gallagher
Yep.
from Shameless.
Known him from things like Lincoln Lawyer. He's in that one too.
Okay, yeah,
So he's always a good guy.
yeah.
I'm excited.
I think it's currently streaming on Stars.
It is Stars subscription. If you've got that, it's there.
I think Lisa said she just got stars. We're chilling.
Really? Does
Yeah.
she get Stars?
Yeah.
Oh, she didn't.
No,
know.
she has Showtime. She has Showtime.
Showtime. You always mix the two.
I
man.
always mix the two. Yes, there's one time I texted her. I said, "Hey, you got stars, right?" She said, "What?" And I said, "Stars." She goes, "No, I have Showtime." I said,
I don't-
"That's so stupid."
I don't know anybody that has Stars. That just reminds me of like, oh, I got cable. Stars is $1 a month extra. I just had it on. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
do you know anybody who goes out of their way to watch Stars like as a subscription
No.
without cable?
No.
No.
Alexa has a subscription, but it's only to watch Outlander.
Oh, so you're chilling.
Yeah, but I also have the film physically.
Oh.
Yeah, I bought it too from
From
Rasputin's a
Rasputin.
long time ago.
Yeah,
So I'm really looking forward to watching this.
nice. Well, tune
I'm
back
excited.
in next week to hear what we have to say about the film Fargo. As always, this has been the Film Bros Podcast. Thank you, and good night.
Good night.
Good night.